Special Issue Task Force. How can I help you? Joining us for the latest in Special Issue Task Force, our dancing queen, Seyoung. Seyoung, hello to you.
Hello.
What was that?
생일 축하합니다.
It is not birthday.
Happy 100th day.
But you don't say 생일 축하합니다.
생일 축하합니다.
But you know, okay,
blow
생일 축하.
out the
But
invisible candlelight.
But you know, I watched the previous show, and I noticed that even though you're part of the Culture Inc., Johan got the cake first.
Yes.
So who was it for? Was it for Johan or is it like me?
It was for both of you.
No. No. It could be only for one.
You know, like when you
This smells good.
when you danced next to me.
Yes.
I was 살짝 설렜어요. When Johan came into the new studio, I was like, 많이
I thought you
설렜어요.
No, I noticed you were. I noticed you were scared when I jumped in. like some animal that just popped out. You know when you're at the zoo and then like a gorilla all of a sudden like comes out the what is it the window?
I didn't know you like dancing this much.
I don't.
You don't?
No.
You just dance for
I'm just,
money?
No, it's just
To secure the shop?
our listeners like it when I
Yeah.
make a fool out of myself, and so this is what I do. But we even actually have Arina, who says this is the first time. Hello, Seyoung. My first time meeting you, but now SJ got me curious about your dancing skills. So every music break, Seyoung's probably gonna dance. Look, she got like the Gangnam Style shades on today.
Oh.
Anyways.
And I live in Gangnam, actually.
Snap. Oh, snap. Flex, yo. Flex. Oh, snap. Oppa Anyang style. Today, let's talk about our first topic here. President Lee Jae-myung making his G7 debut. Oh, my goodness, G7. I don't want to say
G7.
terrible wine, by the way. South
Can you call it a wine?
Terrible wine. But G7 summit itself, very, very important.
Yes.
Just 12 days, right? I think he was talking on the lines of because there was so much things that needed to be done in the country, he actually thought about maybe not going to the G7. But as he was invited, this is going to be his global debut. He's been invited to the G7 summit over in Canada as an observer. Let's start off with this story.
Yes, so by attending this year's G7 summit, President Lee Jae-myung has become the fastest among all South Korean presidents to take part in a global leaders gathering. And before departing, President Lee expressed his determination to show the world the strength of K-democracy and the greatness of the Korean people who have overcome martial law and internal conflict. And he arrived in Canada Monday local time and kicked off his visit with a series of one-on-one meetings with leaders from other invited countries. On his first day, President Lee met back-to-back with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. And second day, Lee will attend an official welcome ceremony for observer nations, followed by an extended session over lunch. And that session will focus on energy security. And speaking of second day, one of the biggest questions going into the G7 summit was whether President Lee Jae-myung would hold separate one-on-one meetings with the U.S. and Japanese leaders before or after the expanded sessions. But President Donald Trump headed back to the U.S. early from the G7 summit in Canada, very unexpected move, citing rising tensions and military conflict between Israel and Iran in the Middle East. And because of that, the much-anticipated Korea-U.S. summit between President Lee and Trump is not possible. But still, he is scheduled to have a meeting with Japan's Ishiba on Tuesday, local time.
Okay, so a meeting with Trump would have been nice. I'm pretty sure Trump would be like, President Lee, did you see my parade? See how many people came to my parade? They all love me. They all love me. There was millions of people that came to my birthday party. How come you didn't go? But things right now, what's happening with Iran, I don't know if Trump is really going to make a big impact. The big thing is people at the G7 summit, the leaders of the G7 summit, not a big fan of Trump.
No.
If you see some of the photo ops, it's like they don't want to take a picture with Trump right there. He's not the most popular leader, world leader
Maybe
right now.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why he decided to leave early.
He might.
Because he could feel the atmosphere that he was not welcomed.
I'm just going to go to America where everybody loves me. Everybody loves me. You know, that 99% approval rating. We saw this in America.
99%?
Did you see
Fake news.
No, he actually posted up on his social media that he has 99% approval rating, right?
Yes.
But here's the thing, though. being invited to the G7 summit, especially when you just became the president, this is a big deal. Let's explain the significance of this.
Yeah, so the G7 is made up of 7 of the world's major advanced economies, the US, UK, Germany, France, Italy, Japan, and Canada. And this year's host, Canada, invited South Korea as an observer. And that's widely seen as a symbolic gesture recognizing Korea's efforts to restore its diplomatic presence after a period of uncertainty. And South Korea first joined the G7 summit as an invited guest back in 2020 under then President Moon Jae-in. And he was invited again during his term. But under the previous administration, Korea wasn't invited to the 2022 and 2024 summits held in Germany and Italy, respectively, something that sparked disappointment. But as we mentioned briefly before the other day, Yoon was invited in 2023 when Japan was the host country, but that was the only time.
Right.
So now with the President Lee being invited so soon after taking office, many are wondering whether this marks the start of a new phase in Korea's global standing.
I don't know if you remember the 2020 G7 summit. I believe that might have been in the UK, if I remember correctly. And this was when I think Boris Johnson might have been still in office. But even though former President Moon Jae-in was just an invited leader and he was an observer, if you saw the meeting that was taking place, he was, I think, President Moon was sitting next to President Biden back then, and then across was Boris Johnson. And at the time, like COVID-19 was happening. And I think they were talking about what to do in the era of the pandemic. And so the media, the
Korea
South
was
Korean,
highly recognized for dealing with the COVID.
Oh yeah, and so that was a very special moment. But again, it was during the pandemic. But Sam, you were mentioning this is an unusually early debut for President Lee. But it also comes at a time when his cabinet isn't even fully formed, right? You have like the deputy, you have from the cabinet members are from the former Yoon administration. Are there concerns about this?
Yes, of course. Again, South Korea have had a gap of more than 6 months in foreign diplomacy due to the political unrest, and global conditions aren't exactly calm either. So the president seems to believe that showing Korea's presence on the world stage is still crucial, despite the concerns over the timing. And President Lee has consistently said he would pursue pragmatic diplomacy focused on the national interest. So even without all the former trappings, this G7 appearance may be less about presentation and more about substance.
Pragmatism, something that President Lee emphasized even during his campaign, right? Let's break down his idea of pragmatic diplomacy and what that really means.
Well, it means Korea's national interest first, regardless of ideology or geopolitical blocs. He wants to maintain strong alliances with the US and Japan, but not at the cost of cutting off dialogue with China or Russia. And in interviews, President Lee has said that worsening ties with China to the point of harming Korea's own interests isn't a wise move, but at the same time, he's made it clear that Korea remains part of the liberal democratic world. He supports deepening ties with Japan and the U.S., of course.
Yeah, President Lee is not going to be singing No American Pie.
No.
to Trump. But I'll just put it at that. It's Korea first right now, and it seems like they're not going to be a pushover anymore. Take this G7 session, right? This week's session, for example, like the topics: energy diversification, AI, and energy integration, trade, tariffs, defense cost sharing. These are all directly linked to the Korean economy and everyday life.
Yeah, that's why this G7 appearance and every international forum President Lee attends going forward will be closely watched. People are curious to see whether he can actually deliver on his promise of pragmatic diplomacy. And, when it comes to diplomacy, history issues, and all the difficult, sensitive issues like tariffs or coast defense, coast sharing are crucial. So we'll have to watch how he is going to deal with those sensitive issues as well.
All right. It's going to be, again, very, very important how number one, the meetings is going to take place, but how he kind of shows himself as the leader of South Korea in these sideline meetings. We're going to continue to talk about some other major issues that's happening here in Korea, but let's take a short song break here. This is Junie featuring Keko with Invitation.
Won't you crawl up in this bed with me? Cozy up in these sheets, girl. Turn whatever you please, yeah, yeah. Look, I'ma keep it simple. If you could take this invitation and just come over to mine, I'll let you decide if you wanna just say so. Stay through the night, just me, yeah. 해뜰때까지만, baby, 곁에 있어줘, yeah. I just wanna get close to you. All I wanna do is take you to my place. Counting 3, 4, 5 and rhythm match how we vibing. Getting paid so I can treat you to a fine dining. No, we ain't sure for damn rich for you to come over. 오늘 밤만큼이 길어 놓치고 싶어. I'll make it just one more reasons. 뭐 없어 맘을 알아줘, yeah, yeah, yeah. 짜릿한 a connection do you feel inside? Baby, it's the love. So now all I can say is stay through the night, just me, yeah. 해뜰때까지만, baby, 곁에 있어줘, yeah. I just wanna get close to you. All I wanna do is take you to my place.
벌써 몇 달째인지도 모르겠어 우리 사이의 거린 보수죠. 오늘은 계산을 하지 말자 복잡해 머릿속에 소수점. 아껴둔 술과 음악과 소파가 있어 cozy한 atmosphere. 엎질러진 상황에 취하고 어지러워. Don't take it personal. 차가운 세상을 벗어나 공간의 풍경 곳은 없게 지구대 완전보다 서슴없이 속도는 멈춤 없이 driving 조명을 아래로 내려 맘 가는 대로 올라타 차례대로
Stay through the night, just me, yeah. 해뜰때까지만, baby, 곁에 있어줘, yeah. I just wanna get close to you. All I wanna do is take you to my place. Invitation, celebration, celebration. 준비가 돼 있어, let me show, let me show. Invitation, celebration. All I wanna do is take you to my place. Girl, if you need, just take your time. No need to rush. I'm all in on you. I got what you like. I see it in your eyes. You know this my invitation. Stay through the night, just me. 해뜰때까지만, baby, 곁에 있어줘, yeah. I just wanna get close to you. All I wanna do is take you to my place. Invitation, a celebration, celebration. 준비가 돼 있어, let me show, let me show. Invitation, a celebration. All I wanna do is take you to my place.
Hey. Stop looking at the clock. We still got more work at the Culture Inc. The last track was Junie featuring Keko with Invitation. You know it's messed up?
Oh, paparazzi, paparazzi.
Kamyon. When our producer does a close-up of me doing mukbang.
You should start your own mukbang. You
And-
were so good.
It's like looking at an animal. It was like a zoo. And then he does a close-up on Seong, and Seong gets all these like compliments.
Like a celebrity.
연예인이다.
Oh.
Irina, I did enjoy it though. It was Seong, thank you very much for this. I was very hungry. I'm not a big fan
you
of
only
cake.
had a bowl of spaghetti.
That's all I had.
for lunch.
Spaghetti. That's all I had. So I was kind of, running low on the
You
fuel.
don't
but
usually enjoy cake.
no, I don't like cake. But that was actually really delicious. Thank you very much for that.
I got it from downstairs.
Where?
Here.
At the cafe?
Yeah.
They sell this?
Yeah.
Very nice.
You didn't know?
Very nice. It's expensive down there. We're going to turn to one of Seoul's most iconic landmarks, the Blue House, or Cheongwade, right? Under former impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol, the presidential office moved to Yongsan. Blue House was open to the public. President Lee Jae-myung has pledged to return. Before that happens, tourists are flocking in, getting their last moments in at the Blue House. Tell us what's been happening at the Cheongwade lately.
Well, it's been busy. In May, over 427,000 visitors toured the Cheongwade, the Blue House, up 63% from April and roughly 4 times more than May in the last 2 years. So with President Lee's promise to restore it, people feel this could be their last chance to visit. So weekend slots filled up quickly and even weekdays are packed. People are using vacation days to secure tours. And I actually visited Blue House Cheongwade
I
with
heard.
my family last week. And I made a reservation thinking we might not get another chance anytime soon. And sure enough, not long after there was news that they'd stopped taking new reservations. So I was lucky. And it was surreal to finally see in person the places I'd only seen on the news. The gardens and pine trees were so beautiful. So I think it was truly unforgettable time
Did
experiencing those like history moments and spaces.
I know your daughter is too young, but did your son maybe say, I'm gonna return to this place as the president of South Korea?
I said, maybe this is going to be my last time visiting Cheongwade. And he said, Mommy, I'm going to invite you in the future after I become South Korea's president.
You know what my son said?
So don't do that.
Man,
Please don't do that.
he's saying stuff like that. My
Because
son,
I made a lot of mistakes while living for like 35 years.
I always say this. See, that's the thing I said, right? I keep telling my kids, don't be president. They're gonna start digging up your family.
I know.
And
I want to live a peaceful life.
see, it's only when Sejong says it. Our producer said this.
내가 대통령의 어머니다. I'm the mom of the president.
I'm gonna make sure that you get a special counsel probe on you. On you. No, I always tell my kids, don't run for politics. I don't want them to be digging on your parents and what daddy did back in the past. Who knows what he did at Kayo Top 10, right?
Our producer said my video of dancing.
Oh, but that's just gonna get him more votes.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
Yeah.
gonna get him more
Maybe our
votes.
next president has a cool mom.
Oh my
will
goodness!
say.
That's actually going to help him with his campaigning there. But again, it was when again former impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol decided he was going to move the presidential
Yes.
office. You know, people were talking about the logistics of it, the cost, and everything. So it was very highly controversial. But there is a reason why people find this experience unique and special, going to the Cheongwade, right?
Yes.
I mean, come on, that's the presidential office. So let's touch on why the Blue House or the Cheongwade matters so much.
Yes, sure. Cheongwade has been South Korea's political heartbeat since 1948. It stands on royal palace grounds dating back to the Joseon era, and its iconic blue-tiled hanok architecture symbolizes national identity. And since the time of Korea's first president, the Blue House Cheongwade served as the central hub for presidential affairs, including the office of the chief presidential secretary, the National Security Office, National Crisis Management Center, Chunchugan Press Center, official residence for the president and the spouse. So yeah, it's acted as a very important place for the president and the public as well. But still, over time, concerns grew that the Blue House was too isolated and outdated physically and separated from the public, making communication and accessibility difficult. So regardless of political affiliation, nearly every president has considered relocating the presidential office to another government building. But, due to the concerns about security and the high cost, the administrative confusion such a move could cause no president actually went through with the relocation during their term, and Cheongwade remained in use. And over the decades, it has come to represent not just the working of the state, but also a piece of Korea's modern history and cultural heritage. But after transitioning to a public space in 2022, some felt that it was being treated too much like a tourist attraction rather than preserving its high historical value. And I mentioned the underground bunker earlier. Some of the Blue House key facilities are hard to rebuild right away.
Yeah.
It takes time. It's very complicated process. So the previous administration had to physically move some key facilities to Yongsan or continue to use some of them, like the state guest house, Yeongbingwan, even after the move. So we can say it's not too practical.
Again,
Yeah.
at the start when former President Yoon had put out this idea to move the presidential office, I remember saying this on the show. I was like, what if the next administration wants to go back to the Blue House?
Yes.
Then it's problems here. But again, there was talks about maybe going down to Sejong City.
Yes.
Right? Because it's a government administrative city down there. And so
But it will take time.
But that's the other thing is like, all right, so the length and stuff like that, how far it is. And, I know that other candidates had talked about this as well. But right now, President Lee Jae-myung did also say that he wants to return to the Blue House. But how's that planning out, though? I mean, it's not as simple as let's move. It's not like us moving. It's not us going, we have a moving
Even us
day.
moving is not easy.
It's pretty hard, too, with kids and stuff like that.
Now the president is being inaugurated. About 58% of Koreans support bringing the presidential office back. And Lee says he will stay at Yongsan temporarily, then return to Cheongwadae when it's ready. He also said that Blue House is the best option. It's been used for a long time, carries a strong symbolism and holds cultural value as well. But at the same time, he added that in the long run, he plans to establish a presidential office in Sejong City. And personally, when I visited Cheongwadae, I thought some parts of the building were a bit old. But being there, I just could feel how much history lives in this space. So I hope it continues to be preserved and cared for like the cultural treasure it is, whether the president continues to use it or relocate the presidential office to other place in the future.
See, when you have a landmark, like, for example, when you say the president of the United States, you see the White House.
Yes.
Right? And when you say the president of South Korea, you should be able to see the Blue House.
Yes.
But I'm going to be honest with you, the past 3 years, I don't even know how the presidential office looks like. It says like it looks just like a compound. It used to be like I think it was like the former Defense Ministry building, like compound.
And the presidential residence is located in different place, so it's not practical.
No, it's not. And so like I don't know how the presidential office looks like down in Yongsan. And so it didn't have that presidential feel to this. Whereas again, the Blue House, no matter how old it is, like it's a symbol. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. So discussions, as we mentioned before, right now for the time being, it's the Cheongwadae, but talks of moving to Sejong still ongoing. Let's quickly talk about this.
Yes, that talk caused a housing boom in Sejong earlier this year. But once President Lee announced that he'd been returning to Cheongwadae, first the things cooled off and price increases have slowed down and the number of transactions is dropping. But he is eventually thinking of moving to Sejong City in the future. And so in conclusion, renovations at the Blue House will begin soon, and if tours end, its next chapter will focus on its symbolic role and possibly public events as well.
We would like a presidential office in Anyang. Is that going to help with the real estate
Housing,
prices here? Been going
It's
down.
highly unlikely, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to happen. Come on now. But Sejong definitely. I mean, it's been slowly. A lot of the government offices, buildings have been moving there.
Yes.
It's only fair that eventually it does.
It's a long-term
move there.
project, I
It
guess.
really is. All right, we're going to talk about other issues that everybody's been talking about here in Korea. But we're going to take another short song break here. Maybe Seong will dance to this. This is Big Bang with Last Dance.
영원할 줄 알았던 사랑도 저물고 이젠 그난 친구마저 떠나가네요 나이가 들어서 나 어른이 되나봐요 왜 이렇게 불안할까 사람들은 오늘도 과거에 머물고 세상은 나 없이도 잘 돌아가네요 아직은 어려서 나 철이 안 드나봐요 왜 이렇게 바보 같을까 아무것도 없이 그저 행복해하던 때가 엊그제 같은데 그래 너무 멀리 와버렸어 난 기억이 안 나 hey, 모든 게 처음이라 서툴고 설레이기만 해 그 시절 기억들이 아직도 꿈만 같은데 난 지금 어디로 가는지 나는 이 노래 부르며 너에게 돌아가
다시 볼 수 있다면 너와 이 노래를 들으며 마지막 춤을 출 거야 이 순간을 기억해 언제까지라도 Just one last dance
희미한 불빛이 되어 별들 사이로 Yeah 너 또한 이별이 되어 손짓하네요 혼자가 되어서 나 외로워 보이나요 왜 이렇게 눈물이 날까
아무것도 없이 그저 행복해하던 때가 엊그제 같은데 그래 너무 멀리 와버렸어
모든 게 처음이라서 풀고 설레이기만 해 그 시절 기억들이 아직도 꿈만 같은데 난 지금 어디에 있는지
나는 이 노래 들으며 너에게 돌아갈 거야 아름다웠던 그대 다시 볼 수 있다면 너와 이 노래 들으며 마지막 춤을 출 거야 이 순간을 기억해 언제까지라도
Just one last dance
음악은 계속해서 흐르고 여기 너를 기다리고 있는 나에게 기회를 줘 제발 단 한 번만
부디 약속할게
그리 길진 않을 테니 나는 이 노래 부르며 나는 이 노래 부르며 너에게 돌아갈 거야 아름다웠던 그대 아이, 다시 볼 수 있다면 hey, 너와 이 노래 들으며 마지막 춤을 출 거야 이 순간을 기억해 언제까지라도 Just one last
너와 손을 잡고 춤을 추던 어젯밤 찬란한 빛이 나는 아름다운 one last smile 빼지 놓쳐 알 수 없던 황홀경 내가 보고 느끼던 세상과 난 어울려 너와 손을 잡고 춤을 추던 어젯밤 찬란한 빛이 나는 아름다운 one last smile 빼지 놓쳐 알 수 없던 황홀경 내가 보고 느끼던 세상과 난 어울려
That was Last Dance, Big Bang. That was not a dancing song. Guys, I think we created a monster in Seoung. I created a monster. I remember when we played the song Jaja, Jaja song,
Yeah.
right? Bus 안에서, in the
버스
bus.
안에서.
And then all of our listeners were like, "Oh, Seoung doesn't dance. She looks like she listens to classic music and stuff."
do.
And she was like, "Oh my goodness. Oh, maybe I'll just do this. Oh." She was like, back when I was younger. Have you been to You've never been to Las Vegas? So Las Vegas Club. She was telling me about all the stuff that she does.
I was pretty shocked when I saw myself dancing because I was terrible. I used to be better dancer. So what happened to me?
It's the other way, guys. I actually don't
After
dance.
giving birth to 2 kids, things have changed.
This is an issue. This is an issue. We gotta every time say.
So what's our next topic? Our third topic is about
Our producer has the mouse on 버스 안에서 찾아. Uh-oh. What
is it?
Yeah, everybody, impromptu dance party! Celebrating 100 days, ladies and gentlemen.
안에서.
Jaja with bus 안에서 dance party all of a sudden. That's it. Oh, no music dance.
Oh.
Oh, I just realized, guys, she doesn't have the headphones. She didn't even have music. Were you doing the dance without the music?
Without the music.
She didn't even have the music on.
Here you can see how stressful my life is. Living as a mom and a wife
So
and a daughter
Guys,
and working at the same time. Oh my goodness.
the reason I have my monitor and earphones is because we could hear the music. The music doesn't come. The speakers doesn't play the music. The whole time we were dancing to Jaja,
Does music matter?
she didn't even have
can
music. How'd you
dance.
dance without music?
You can dance. I can still dance.
Oh my
without
goodness.
music.
Oh my goodness. Guys, if you guys are tuning into today's program, you guys were really in for a treat.
I think my husband is watching now. 미안해.
This is what you married into. 형님. This is what you
how
married
I'm earning
into.
money.
Oh gosh, this is fun stuff. Let's go into our last topic here.
Sure,
Future of transportation, starting this past yesterday.
Yes.
Seoul's late-night autonomous taxi service. This is going to be expanding its operating area after completing its pilot test, I guess. First service of its kind in the country. Public interest very high. Let's talk about this.
Are you willing to take it?
No.
No. So this late-night robo-taxi service began as a pilot program last September, operating in the Gangnam area, specifically in neighborhoods like Yeoksam, Daeji, Dogok, and Samsung. And now that the trial period has proven to be safe and effective, so Seoul is expanding the service to even busier areas like Apgujeong, Sinsa, Nonyeon, and Cheongdam. So for now, it's just in Gangnam, but still the area has grown a lot. The taxis will now operate across major east, west, and north-south roads, including 봉은사로, 태난로, 강남대로, and 영동대로. And that's roughly an 18 square kilometer area. Pretty significant coverage for central Seoul.
That's messed up. This is really
Why?
messed up. It's
Why?
only in the Gangnam area.
Because it's the demand is really high in Gangnam area.
We didn't want it
There are
anyways.
a lot of offices in
No,
Gangnam area.
but I did see, if you look at the roads in Gangnam, it has like signs that says like they're doing pilot testing of like autonomous driving taxis
Yes.
and stuff like that, and you have to be a little bit careful because it was on pilot mode. But the interesting thing with this is that it's not during the daytime that they're operating this. It's specifically at night. Why? Because there's just less cars?
No, there's a strong demand for transportation late at night in Seoul, whether it's people working overtime, after hours company dinners like 회식, night shopping, or just late night plans with friends. But the problem is that subway and buses service stop running around midnight, and it gets really hard to find or grab a taxi even when using the application. And that's why Seoul first introduced late night autonomous buses back in 2023. And now these robo-taxis are the next step.
I agree. It's so hard
After
to catch a cab.
회식, it's impossible to
You know,
catch
we
a
just
taxi.
we were just at Coyote Top 10 and we're just dancing and it's like 3 a.m. We really need to go home. Cabs are not going anywhere.
So you can wait until the first bus or the subway operates.
That's what I used to do back in college, right? Wait until like the first train work. But
Yeah.
then we're old now. We can't do that. We need the autonomous taxi
I
now. Really, really stressful, especially in Seoul, and
Yes.
trying to catch a cab at midnight.
Yeah, especially in hotspots like Gangnam, it's not uncommon to wait 30 minutes or more for a taxi, and sometimes drivers reject passengers depending on where they want to go. So robo-taxis are being seen as a way to solve this ongoing problem.
So we were talking about how they had earlier on the late night bus project, right? Did Seoul receive any kind of feedback from that project?
Yes, and it was mostly positive. People loved that the buses were predictable, punctual, and didn't discriminate by destination, but there were some concerns too. Autonomous buses were introduced in Seoul to address the shortage of drivers during the early morning hours, but in reality, there is still a driver on board each autonomous bus for safety reasons because it's level 3 autonomous car, and this has led to some questioning whether the city really needed to invest in new autonomous vehicles at all. And at the same time, because the drivers does not actually control the vehicle, there have been frequent complaints about sudden braking. And as a result, standing passengers are not allowed on these buses, and all riders are strongly encouraged to wear seat belts for safety, which is not usual on the regular public bus.
Again, I when you ask me if I would be interested, I say no because I just don't trust it yet, right? Because it's the early stages of this. So it's not fully driverless yet.
No, not yet. For now, a trained safety operator is always in the car, and there's a control center monitoring. But the goal is eventually to move toward completely driverless operation as a public trust grows and technology improves. So
There
maybe
you
in the
have it.
future, yes.
Yeah, again, in the future, I think eventually this is going to be what it is, but there's just going to be then they took our jobs. No more jobs for taxi drivers. That could be a terrible thing,
yes.
right? But no one wants to work late nights. Sam, I have to say, maybe it was your dancing. I don't think I remember seeing this many people watching our show.
Oh,
On our 100 days, we almost had 90 people listening just on YouTube itself. If you want to see more
It's
of
my
Seong
honor.
dancing, just keep coming. Just keep coming to our
it's
listening
not
to our show.
because of me. It turns out
Oh, is that what it is?
it's because of the next guest.
Oh, never mind.
The host, maybe the guest host.
Should we just like forget about it and just do 2 more hours of this? Just dance off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do Tuesday Night Fever here.
And I'm not gonna be here next week.
Forget about the
I'll
next
get fired.
I might get fired too, man. Anyways, Hale, thank you very much for your report today. Have a fantastic rest of your week. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
All right, sending her out of the studio. Let's take a listen to a song here from 50/50 with Midnight Special.